Okay, we are officially on. So we're talking about easy quadratic word problems. This is just to get warmed up. This is not an example of ones that might be used in real life by an engineer or something. It could be, I guess, but not likely, right? But it's an opportunity to practice these kind of things and start to see how factoring helps you find a solution and how finding the zeros or finding the roots or solving for x helps you find the solution, right? So this will give you that practice to see that. So the question, the word problem is a rectangle's length is 18 meters less than 5 times its width. The area is 8 square meters. Find the width and find the length. All right. In the past, I have done word problems similar to this, but they were find the perimeter. Remember those? Where, like, for example, this is like a little intermission, okay, before I actually solve that. I just want you to see the difference between what we've done in the past and what we're going to do now. In the past, I said something like this. You've got a rectangle, and you've got a width of W. And the length is, say, 2 times, let's say the length is 4 more than 2 times the width. 4 more than 2 times the width, right? And I said, if the perimeter is 18, find the dimensions. Perimeter, remember, this would be also 2w plus 4, and this would be w, right? And I said perimeter, if I said perimeter is equal to 18, then you would just, it's this plus this plus this plus this, right? You just add them all together. So 2w plus 4 plus 2w plus 4 plus w is equal to 18. And then you solve for w, basically, right? And then you find your width, and then you multiply it times 2 and add 4 to find your length, right? So that was pretty easy. That was just straightforward adding and subtracting like terms, right? This is different because now we're talking area. This is really, there's no multiplication involved. It's really more just adding. This now you're multiplying the width times the length, right? And that's going to give you, if you have an x and you're multiplying together, you're going to get an x squared, which becomes a quadratic. Does that make sense? So that's what we're dealing with. That's why these, when you're dealing with area, you're dealing with quadratics. When you're dealing with perimeter, you're just dealing with like terms. Isabel? So let's draw our rectangle for a second. I think that might help. Boom, boom, boom. And we know this is our width, right? Can you guys see that everything's based on the width? The length is based on the width, right? It says the length is 18 meters less than 5 times its width. So we make the width W, right? Now the length, this is going to be the length. What is the length? How would I write that? 18 meters less than, where do you put that? Minus 18, where does it go? After. So length is minus 18, less than what? 5 times the width. What? 5w? Yes? So that means our width, I'm going to come over here and write this down. Width is equal to w, length is equal to, what did I say? 5w minus 18. Okay? So we've got those two things. Now it says the area is 8 square meters. What is the formula for the area of a rectangle? Everybody knows that. Say it again? Right. So write the whole, what's the whole equation though? The whole formula. A. Yeah. So write the whole thing. You write A equals length times width, right? So now we're going to just plug it in. It says the area is 8 square meters. So I'm going to say 8 equals length times width. I'm going to do the width first. I'm going to just put W, parentheses, 5W minus 18. Would you guys agree with me that that's right? That's what, I'm just plugging it in. The width is the W, the length is the 5W minus 18. Okay, so right now, to solve this, it doesn't equal 0. If it equaled 0, I could solve it right now. Because I could say either W equals 0 or 5W minus 18 equals 0. But it doesn't equal 0. So I've got to make it equal 0. But before I do that, I've got to get rid of the parentheses. I've got to actually distribute. So we're going to distribute this. So I've got 8 is equal to 5W squared, 5W squared minus 18W. Okay? You guys with me? Now, what do I do? Becca.
Subtract 8 from both sides.
Right, you want to make it equal to 0. That is the rule. You've got to make it always equal to 0. So subtract 8. Subtract 8. There's no like terms on that side, so I'm going to actually just add it to the end. So I now have 0 is equal to 5W squared minus 18W minus 8. All right, so now I have a quadratic trinomial. It does not have a 1 in front of the W squared. So therefore I'm going to use Gary's terrific trick, or a terrific trick, right? Somebody's. So 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. So that's what I'm thinking of. Negative 40, factors of negative 40 that add up to negative 18. Now remember, for it to be negative, one of them is positive, one of them is negative.
20 and 2.
20 and...
Negative 2.
So negative 20 and positive 2? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, so negative 20 and positive 2. Okay, so let's do that. So we've got 0 equals. We've got 5W, I am an X person. 5W squared, where were we? Doesn't matter, let's do minus 20x plus 2x, oh yeah. See, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Plus 2W, where am I? Minus 8, right? Now I'm going to check. I'm going to do a really quick check before I go on. Is that equal to that? Negative 20 plus 2 is negative 18. Yes, that's the answer. Okay. So now I'm going to do my factoring by grouping because I have 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Factor by grouping. 5W W minus 4 plus 2W minus 4 equals 0. And then we have 0 is equal to either, well, 5W minus 4 times 5W plus 2. And so either, now that I'm there, I'm going to say either this equals 0 or this equals 0, right? So either W minus 4 equals 0 or 5W plus 2 equals 0. I'm going to give you guys a chance to catch up. I'm sorry. I kind of go fast sometimes. So you're with me. Everybody's with me? Everybody understands how we got here? Okay. So what's my final answer? I'm going to add 4 to both sides. W is equal to 4 or W, we're going to subtract 2, right? Subtract 2, divide by 5. W is equal to negative 2 divided by 5. Okay? Now, let's look at the question. It says a rectangular's length is 18 meters less than 5 times its width. The area is 8 square meters. Find the width and the length. But we have 2 values for x. What am I going to do?
Plug each of them in and check.
What?
Plug each of them in and check.
But look at your values for x. We're now talking about a real life square rectangle. Is there one of those values of x, John, that is not possible?
I don't know.
You've got a rectangular box. Or you've got either w is equal to 4 or w is equal to negative 2/5.
Right.
Is there a chance that you could eliminate one of those?
I'm not sure.
Look at the answer. Look at w equals 4
Right.
or w is equal to negative 2/5. Can you have a negative 2/5 width?
No.
How could you? You can't. There's no such thing as a negative width to a box, right? There's no such thing. It's
yeah.
not in real life. There's not a negative width or a negative length. So we just by logic, John very cleverly ruled out,
I did.
yes, this possibility. There's no way you can have a negative value for w. Does that make sense? There's no way. If you're dealing with a real rectangle, because there's no way you can have a negative, I mean, you can't go smaller than 0, right? In terms of length, right? And width. Therefore, w is equal to 4. So now we just plug it in. So our width is 4. Width is 4, and our length is 5 times 4, which is 20, minus 18, which is 2. That doesn't make sense. I drew it wrong. All right, so I drew it wrong. It doesn't matter. So now we realize it's like this. The width is like this, and the length is like that. Right? But it was helpful to draw it even wrong because it helped us set it all up. You get it? All right, we're running out of time for me to do another one. I was going to do 2, but is that good enough?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right, I'm going to give you the homework now. It involves doing 4 of these and then just a bunch of practice on the back of other stuff. Tell me if somebody's ever.
Gary, did you turn off the camera?
What?
Did you turn off the camera?
Oh,
Great up.
thank you so much, Sina.
Are you gonna watch that?
I hate it when I